Hello and welcome to GBN Originals. I'm Patrick Christys, and with news of some intriguing stories coming out of the World Economic Forum in Davos, I thought I would bring them to you. So it seems the annual gathering of global elites has produced more than just economic forecasts and policy discussions this year. Let's start with the surprising encounter involving none other than football's Gary Neville. Yes, he's a former Manchester United player turned pundit. Now, we're all used to Neville's outspoken nature, especially when it comes to British politics. He's never been shy about waving his Labour Party membership card around or offering his 2 cents on the issue of the day, despite the fact that he's woefully unqualified to do so. But something peculiar happened on the streets of Davos. A video clip has surfaced showing Neville in an uncharacteristically reticent mood when he was approached by a Canadian media outlet. The usually loquacious ex-footballer suddenly found himself at a loss for words.
How are you feeling about the new Trump administration for Britain? Do you think he's going to be good?
I've got no comments.
No comments? What about Elon Musk highlighting the grooming issue in your country? Do you think that's a good thing?
Yeah, Manchester United.
Oh, look at that! I've been. Was I not being useful before?
20 years now.
I love it. I'm copying it from brother. Let me ask you quickly. Do you think it was a good thing that Elon Musk is highlighting the grooming gang problem in your country?
I've got no comment, mate.
Really? Why not?
I've got no comment on Trump and Musk and all the rest of it. So
I particularly enjoy the part of that video where Gary Neville says that he isn't really into politics, despite being really into politics, attending Labour Party conferences, being a Labour Party member and interviewing the now Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who happens to be a member of the Labour Party, just before the last election. So no, he's not into politics at all. Moving on. When asked about Donald Trump's recent election victory and inauguration as the US president, Neville's response was, to put it mildly, evasive. He claimed he had no comment on Trump and Musk and all of that, even suggested that he hadn't been following the news, which I think we all find hard to believe. Let's pause this for a moment. This is Gary Neville we're talking about, a man who's never met a microphone he didn't like, especially when it comes to political matters. Yet here he was, acting as if American politics was just some obscure topic he'd never given a second thought. I've never even thought about Trump. Who's Trump? Who is Trump? Where's America?
and all the rest of it.
So what brings you here, though?
What brings me here? I'm a partner in the company with Janie.
Oh, what's the company?
Kinsella?
Oh, okay.
There's nothing dodgy.
Nothing dodgy there?
There's nothing dodgy here, not for you, mate.
Are you feeling hopeful for the future now?
Of what?
The world. It's a new day, a new era, isn't it?
Is it?
Donald Trump became president yesterday.
Oh, sorry, I'm not across that really. I stick to...
You don't care about politics?
I do care about politics, yeah. But not really, to be fair, speaking about it in America. I've never spoken about American politics.
But doesn't it affect Britain?
You alright, you? You alright?
No? You're a pretty political person, though.
No, not really.
No? All right, brother. Thanks for your time.
Us blokes hate talking about a little thinning up top, and many of us settle with that balding look, but that wasn't for me, and that's why I went to Elite Hair, the world's leading hair loss clinic, and now I've had over 4,000 new hairs added to this barnet, and very soon I'm going to be rocking some brand new flowing locks, and you can too. So how does it work? Step 1, I sent the team a set of photos of my head. Step 2, I then spoke to one of the Elite Hair staff who looked through my photo submissions and worked out a treatment plan for me. Step 3, Elite Hair then organised accommodation and the treatment. I was at their state-of-the-art treatment centre in Istanbul, and their incredibly kind staff took me through the process, and before I knew it, I was in surgery. Elite Hair and their leading medical experts have specialised in pain-free treatments using the sleep deep method, and they really mean that. I felt incredibly relaxed the whole time, and I haven't felt any pain since. Check out Elite Hair using the link in the description. When you do, Elite Hair will provide you with a free personalised hair analysis. Then you'll join over 100,000 happy patients. Hit that link and start your hair growth journey like I did today.
But he didn't stop there. Neville went on to imply that he wasn't particularly interested in American politics at all. This, of course, from a man who's made a second career out of offering his views on every political issue under the sun. So what's going on here? Has Gary Neville suddenly developed a case of political amnesia? Or is there something about the rarefied air of Davos that's making him uncharacteristically tight-lipped? Now, while Gary Neville was busy not commenting on things, some other rather interesting stories have emerged from this gathering of the world's movers and shakers, and they paint a picture that's a far cry from the lofty ideals and noble ambitions usually associated with the World Economic Forum. A woman claiming to be a high-class escort has come forward with some eyebrow-raising allegations about what really goes on behind the scenes at Davos. Now, I should warn you, some of what follows might be a little bit shocking for our more sensitive viewers. This escort, who wishes to remain anonymous, claims that she's been hired by attendees at the World Economic Forum for several years. And according to her, the after-hours activities of some of these global elites are far from the world-saving discussions they engage in during the day. She describes how some attendees use the forum as an opportunity for, shall we say, extracurricular activities. According to her account, married men remove their wedding rings, and there's a surge in demand for escort services as well. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like something out of a Hollywood script, but no, the escort insists this is the reality of what happens when the world's most powerful people, mostly men, let's be honest, gather in one place. And it's not cheap either. The escort claims that some attendees are willing to pay £2,500 per hour for these services. It's a pretty penny, even by Davos standards. But it's not just about the money. The escort also talks about the sense of entitlement she's encountered. She describes how some clients believe they can do whatever they want simply because of their status and their wealth. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, hey Patrick, why are you telling us this? Isn't this just salacious gossip? But I believe there's a bigger issue at play here. These are the same people who lecture us about climate change, about equality, about making sacrifices for the greater good. Yet if these allegations are true, it seems that behind closed doors, some of them are indulging in behaviours a far cry from the virtuous image that they project to the world. In fact, I would argue that they were without morals and quite possibly wrong uns. The escort describes a culture of excess and indulgence, about how some of the attendees view the forum as a chance to indulge while they can. It's a stark contrast to the image of serious-minded leaders grappling with the world's problems that the World Economic Forum likes to project. And this brings us to the next question, doesn't it? If these allegations are true, what does it say about the sincerity of some of these global leaders? Can we trust people to make decisions that affect millions of lives when they're engaging in such lurid behaviour behind the scenes? No. Now let's be clear. We're not here to moralise or pass judgment on anyone else's personal life, but when it comes to people in positions of power and influence, I believe we have a right to ask questions, don't we? If these world leaders are making decisions that affect all of our lives, don't we deserve to know who they really are? Don't we have a right to expect a certain standard of behaviour from those who claim to be working for the greater good? Do you remember during the coronavirus pandemic, the professor who did all of the COVID modelling and was instrumental behind the lockdown, turned out he broke lockdown rules so he could go and bonk his mistress? We're in similar territory, aren't we? And what about the role of the media in all this? Why aren't more mainstream outlets reporting on these allegations? Is it because they're too close to the power structures they're supposed to be holding to account? And this brings us back to Gary Neville, a half-decent right-back, a terrible left-winger. His sudden reticence when questioned about Trump and American politics takes on a new light in the context of these other Davos stories. What did he see or hear that made him so uncharacteristically cautious at Davos? Ladies and gentlemen, the World Economic Forum is supposed to be about solving the world's problems. But these stories suggest that for some attendees, it might be more about indulging in the very excesses they publicly decry. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a few questions to ponder. Can we trust global leaders and global elites who preach one thing in public but allegedly behave like animals in private? Why isn't the mainstream media giving more attention to these stories? Where is the sting operation from the likes of Channel 4 or Sky News? Surely this is the kind of thing that you could do an undercover hit job on. No? Why don't you? And finally, what does it say about our society that we allow this apparent hypocrisy to continue unchallenged? These are complex issues. I don't pretend to have all the answers, but I do believe it's our job here at GB News to ask these difficult questions even when others won't. So thank you very much for watching. I am Patrick Christys, and please don't forget to subscribe to GB News YouTube for more.